I now feel if you want to feel generally positive about the current state of the United States of America on a global cultural scale, what you need to do is you need to watch 90 Day Fiancé on TLC, because you watch that shit and you realize America must be doing something right, dude. Because people all around this world are lining up, doing whatever it takes, throwing it all away just for the chance to make it somewhere in the Midwest. They don't give a fuck where they end up, dude. They'll do anything, up to and including marrying the biggest jabroni in the state of Ohio, gladly. They'll interview this guy on there. He's like, yeah, my name's Jason. I'm a 35-year-old dodgeball coach. And ever since my mom kicked me out, I've been looking for Miss Right, you know, like the type of woman that knows how to load the dishwasher and keep her mouth shut during Buckeyes games, that type of thing, right? And you're listening like, I don't like your chances, Jason. You don't seem like much of a catch to me. Then they cut to some beautiful girl in Estonia or somewhere like that, just like, Jason is man of my dreams. I often fantasize about being with him and eating hamburger helper off of paper plate. In the Shangri-La known as Dayton, Ohio.
I really do. I love this job. I've been doing this for 14 years. I love this job with all of my heart. You know, I love getting to travel. I love getting to meet people. I've met so many dope people that I never thought I would get to experience stuff with, right? I have also met so many fucking weird people, you guys. So many weird people. And by weird people, I mean Uber drivers. I have met so many weird-ass Uber drivers. And I want to make this very clear. If you drive for Uber, you shouldn't be ashamed. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I have met enough weird Uber drivers that make me go, how the fuck are they hiring for this job? What do they just sit you down and go, how good are you at reading social cues? You're autistic? Let's get you in a car. Like, it's crazy, the stuff I have experienced. I was doing shows in Alabama once, right? For the money, not for the love. I was ready to leave. Just keeping it real, you know? Go into Alabama looking like me. You let me know how long you want to stay. Fucking hated that place. Couldn't wait to leave. I order an Uber after the show. This woman comes to pick me up. True story. I get in her car. She's playing gospel music. Now listen, I ain't hating. But it's not what I prefer to hear. That's all I'm saying. I got no problem with gospel music, but if I had a choice, it's not what I would have chosen to hear. That's all I'm saying. I'm listening to the song. First line I hear this dude say, he goes, Jesus is in the crack house. And I went, change my mind. Turn this up, please. What are we listening to? It's a real song. Look it up. It's called Say His Name. Halfway through it, the dude just goes on up like a panic attack. He's like, Jesus is in the crack house. Listen, I don't know what y'all's relationship is with Jesus, but when I was growing up, he lived in your heart. When did he move to the dope spot? You know what'll catch you really off guard about hearing the lyric, Jesus is in the crack house, in a gospel song? The moment where you have to accept that might be your favorite fucking lyric you've ever heard. That is a rough moment where you're like, I can't really think of a better one. Here's why I like the lyric. It grows on you. I have never heard a lyric that grows on you. Every time you hear a song lyric, you either like it or you don't. This one makes you go, what the fuck? I guess it's fun. I don't know. It grows on you. It's like getting a massage from a guy, you know what I mean? I know what the fuck I just said. I meant it too. It's like getting a massage from a guy. It grows on you. Like, fellas, you've never gone to a masseuse, ordered a massage, the masseuse comes out, it turns out to be a guy, and you're like, I don't know, man, this might be weird. Then by the end of it, you're like, only Greg touches my feet. That was crazy. I'm saying it grows on you like that. You're like, don't judge. You don't know. Don't judge. I'll tell you exactly what it is about this lyric I love. The phrase, Jesus in the crack house, sounds like a perfect replacement for saying, oh my God. I can't stop using it. Every time I see some crazy shit happen, I'm just like, Jesus in the crack house. You see this shit right here? Like, I can't stop doing that. I'm telling you, next chance you get, let one out. You're gonna be like, it feels way better than I thought, man. It is addicting. Here's what I love about it the most. Doesn't even have to be the crack house. As long as it's any place you don't expect to find Jesus, still works. You're gonna have a field day. You can be like, did you hear Queen Latifah's about to box Oprah Winfrey? And you'll be like, Jesus and a Jimmy John's. You shitting me right now? Dude, it works with everything. So listen, I'm getting distracted. The point is, I heard this lyric. And I remember I look at my driver and I go, did he just say Jesus is in the crack house? Swear to God, this chick looks back at me. She goes, yeah. And I went, was that not weird to you? And she goes, no. And I went, how? And she goes, I used to be addicted to drugs. And I went, that's not an answer to this question. But now I have more questions. And then she says, this quote is burned into my brain. I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. She goes, I used to be addicted to drugs. And I learned to stop doing drugs because anytime I smoked weed that was laced, Jesus would come and visit me. And then I said, that's what made you stop? Like, y'all get the point I'm getting there, right? I was like, wait, Jesus would come visit you? And she went, yes. And I went, every time. And she went, yes. And I went, lady, I've never done drugs. That's the best pitch to do drugs I've ever heard in my life. What are we debating right now? You're telling me if I did the drugs, I get to hang out with the most beloved, most desired individual that's ever existed anytime I want on the clock? Yeah, give me the fucking drugs. If I told you, let's keep it real. If I told you that shooting up heroin would let Taylor Swift come hang out with you for 20 minutes, do you have any idea how many random white women would be tweaked out in the streets of every city in this country? With all due respect, there wouldn't be enough white women left to run an HR department. Are you considering the sheer numbers? If Swifties were junkies, oh my God. Shake It Off would be a song about kicking drug addiction. Bro, they'd be out there tapping each other's veins, looking for loose ones. You and me, we got bad blood. You know the fucking song. They're ODing in some alley. Look what you made me do. I'm sorry, I'm fucking around too much.
I'll try a hot dog anywhere. I had the best hot dog of my life. You'll never guess where. Seattle, Washington. Anybody heard of it? It's a big city. I went to a baseball game out there. I left the stadium. There's a hot dog stand right outside. So I walk up. I said, I would like a hot dog. And the guy goes, what do you want on it? And I was just I wasn't ready to answer that. So I was, do it. I told the guy to do it. And he looked like he'd been ready for somebody to say that. He goes, my friend, I got you. And I watch him. He takes the hot dog bun. This guy starts putting cream cheese on the bun. I was like, you're crazy. Why do you have that back there? That's not even a hot dog ingredient. Did you bring that from home? You can't use home stuff at a restaurant. Some things are home things. Remember that? Was that worth it? Nope. All right. He goes, my friend, trust me. And then he starts putting browned onions on top of that hot dog. I go, there's no way this is good. It was the best hot dog I've ever had. I've thought about it all the time. I think about it all the time. I've told a lot of people about this hot dog. I've evangelized this place all over North America. If I find out you're going to Seattle, I'll send you the coordinates of this hot dog stand. That's the impact it's had on me. Anyway, the whole reason I bring that up is because a few months ago, this is 2 years later, I'm back in Seattle. I went to another baseball game. I didn't care about the game. I left in the second inning. I'm trying to find that hot dog stand, right? And it's in the same spot. And I walk up, I promise y'all, same dude from 2 years ago. I'll never forget his eyes. And I look right at him and I go, hey, dude, you're not going to remember me. Well, it is a big day for me. I've been thinking about you for 2 years, dude. You changed my life in 2021. You won't remember this. I came in, I think I was in a mood. Maybe you were in a mood. I don't know. I said, do it. You did it. You put cream cheese on a hot dog. I've never seen that before in my life. Could you do that for me again? He looks at me all weird. He goes, my friend, are you talking about the Seattle dog? And he points at the menu above his head. I didn't see the menu 2 years ago. There's one item on the menu of this hot dog stand. It's the Seattle dog, a hot dog with, you guessed it, cream cheese and grilled onions. It's the only thing this guy makes. He makes one item all day, every day. I've talked about it for 2 years like he invented it for me. It's the signature hot dog of the city. I've recommended it to people from Seattle. Do you know how stupid that makes me look? To recommend the signature dish in that city? That's like if I went to Philadelphia and I was like, yo, dude, I found this spot today. Y'all should check it. This dude put cheese on a steak sandwich. I know it sounds crazy. Just tell him I sent you. He'll do it. He'll hook it up.
My son and I watched a lot of football together. That's how we got close. That's how a lot of men process emotions. We watch sports. Because the sports are up on the screen safely. That's where the emotions are. You're sitting on the couch. And you can almost like live vicariously through what's happening on that screen. Almost becomes like a metaphor for what's happening with you. Like I remember watching a football game this year, and we're on the couch. I'm like, wow, seems like Russell Wilson's having a hard time lately, huh? And he's like, yeah, I think Russell Wilson is having a hard time lately. I said, well, what do you think is going on with him? He goes, well, honestly, I just feel like the coach is pushing him too hard. He's just on his back all the time, and he just won't let... Well, that's probably because the coach sees how much potential Russell has. And he feels like it's his job to help him reach that full potential. Well, he should back off. It's too much. Well, you know, Russell's a free agent next year, and then I guess he can figure out where he's going to get his own money from. Dad, yes, son? I think Russell Wilson might be gay. All right, let's watch some hockey. Here we go. Here's a sport I can't watch. Baseball makes me want to die. Nothing happens, and it happens slowly. And the players don't care. They finally put a clock on it, but they need more clocks on it. It's the only sport where the players don't charge onto the fields. They just take their time. Everything is taking their time. They just kind of meander out. Shoelaces untied. They got a big gulp, smoking a cigarette. And you're like, all right, I guess we're going to start. And they're like, nah, we're going to play catch for about 5 minutes. While you guys wait. We're going to throw some grounders, play a little catch. Matter of fact, we're going to do it every time we switch sides. Catch starts again. So you watch that. And then you're like, all right, I guess now we're finally going to start. No. Now we're going to watch a guy in a magic white circle practice swinging a bat. He's been swinging it since he was this big, but he's like, how's this go again? Like, huh? Like that? True? And then finally he steps up to the plate and you're like, all right, now we're going to go. And after 10 seconds, he's like, time out. I just need a couple more. I haven't quite... This... And then he finally digs in, and now we're going to go. No, we're not. Now the pitcher and the catcher, they got a little game they like to play. Where the pitcher looks at the catcher and he goes, guess which pitch I'm going to throw? No, that's not it. Guess again. No, warmer. No, fuck all these people. Who gives a shit? Keep guessing. Finally, he gets it right. The guy throws the pitch. Batter doesn't swing. Whole thing starts all over again. Bullshit. Get rid of the catcher, get a bucket of balls, and just start whipping balls at the guy. Not next to him. What is that shit? Throw it at him. If you can hit him, he's out. That's the rule. Now he's going to swing at every pitch just to defend himself. And no more resting on each base. Oh, I'm safe on the bag. No, what are you, 7? Keep running. You keep running until you're tackled by a guy from the other team who's carrying the ball. And a bat. Every player should keep a bat in their hand throughout the game. I want to see 18 guys jacked up on steroids, frothing at the mouth, swinging bats at each other. That I would watch every night.
There's a coffee shop I go to quite a bit in my neighborhood of Crown Heights, Brooklyn, right? I go in there one day, and there's a cool dad, cool as shit, you know, very, very rugged motif, right? Clearly, he had handled an axe before while throwing it at a target in a bar where they were doing a corporate team building exercise. And I bet he even picked up the tab, right? You could tell, it was just like, yeah, I'm a man. And he's trying to be cool whilst also disciplining his kid, who is maybe 5 years old, maybe, right? So this dude's all, Mason, 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 Mason. And you could tell he noticed then that people were watching. So the question mark becomes a period, right? Mason, 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 Mason. I know, by the way, Mason, right? I know, strong name. You think of George Mason or Stone Masons. I guarantee this fucking guy named him after the jar. 100%. He likes drinking sour IPA out of him so much, named his kid after one. Kid's middle name's probably Britta. Mason. And Mason was the coolest fucking kid I have ever seen. He did not give a shit. He earned my respect forever with one move. He walked over to a table and closed a laptop while the guy was on the laptop. That's the most hardcore shit I've ever seen. Because this dude was there just typing away in a coffee shop in Brooklyn. So no doubt authoring the next great Vulture article. Taking down the patriarchy from within. And then one of its youngest members comes over and just shatters everything about it. Like jellyfishes him right there on the spot because he has to move his hands away so Mason could slam the shit. And then this adult just sat there like he was in trouble. And Mason just stared back at his dad like this. Just cold as ice. Like he might as well have been like, the fuck you gonna do, Gregory? I call you dad when you earn it. And the dad tried to flex. He's like, whoa.
My point in all this is that guys get body shamed. We do. Guys get body shamed if we're short, or if we're bald, or if we have a small penis. And some guys out there get body shamed for all three. Yeah, it's got to be a horrible life for whoever that guy is. I'm sure he's really talented, though. I believe in God. I do. I took about 30 years off, but now I'm back. This is why I believe in God. I just want there to be someone when my life is over to complain to about the life I had. That's why I do it. I want some upper management. I go up there, God's gonna be like, time to talk about your sins, and I'll be like, I have some notes for you, pal. What was that? I'll definitely mention like the fact that I'm bald. You know, I'll be like, well, you couldn't just give me hair. That would have been a nice one. But 3 years ago, I had hair. Yeah, I had hair 3 years ago. I'm not saying it was a great amount, but it was an amount where my friends were still positive. I tell them I'm going bald. They're like, you're not going bald. I'm like, are you sure? My dad's bald. And they'd be like, just because your dad's bald doesn't mean you'll be bald. It runs on your mom's side. I'm like, she's bald too. You'd think by now they would have a cure for being bald. Best option out there right now, you could take a pill, but a side effect of the pill is it could cause you to not be able to get an erection. And I don't want to risk that in case my wife and I ever, get a divorce. They tested that pill on animals first. That's pretty messed up. I just imagine there's some bald, limp-dick monkey walking around the jungle all depressed. Like, fuck. My dick doesn't work. There are 2 stages of being bald. First stage, denial. Second stage, acceptance. That's where I'm at. I've accepted it. And when you accept it, you shave your head. That's what I did. And I'll never forget that first day I shaved my head. It was on the day they stormed the Capitol. I wasn't trying to be a part of it or anything. I shaved my head, then I turned on the TV, and I was like, I probably should have waited. You got to keep up with current events. I try and have fun with this look. I try, as much as possible. I was walking around this town. It's right outside New York City. It's called Mamaroneck. And I'm walking around, and I saw a barbershop. And the name of this barbershop was Gary's Barbershop. And I'm like, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to ask them if they have any T-shirts. You know, Gary's Barbershop, I'm bald. This could be big. So I walk in. There's one barber. He's cutting somebody's hair. And I ask him, I'm like, do you have T-shirts? And he goes, huh? And I go, do you sell T-shirts? And he goes, what? And in my head, I'm like, am I saying it weird? And then I'm like, my name's Gary. Do you have any T-shirts that say Gary's Barbershop? And he was like, do you have a barbershop? I couldn't believe how quickly this went off the rails. I didn't know how to explain it any clearer. I was like, I'd wear the T-shirt as a style. It would be a cool look. Finally, he got it. He was like, we don't carry T-shirts. We never have. We never will. No one has ever asked me this before. There's no need for them. Nobody would wear them. That's what he said to me. And I walked out of there. I felt worse than when I walked in. And about an hour went by. I called up the place. I didn't change my voice at all. I was like, hi, do you have T-shirts? He's like, are you the guy who was in here an hour ago? I'm like, no. He's like, somebody who was just in here trying to buy Gary's Barbershop T-shirts. I'm like, I guess there's a pretty high demand. Stock up, buddy.
White supremacy is wild to me for a few reasons. First of all, I feel like every white supremacist I've ever seen is pretty much the least supreme looking motherfucker. Like I've never seen an avowed white supremacist and thought to myself, behold, the pinnacle of man. Like it's not a bunch of Hemsworths walking around with swastika tattoos, you know? It's not. Your average white supremacist walks in looking like Busted Magazine's fuck up of the year, 2005. Walks in with a tattoo on his neck of a skull that's got more teeth than he does. Walks in looking like he's about to invent a whole new type of hepatitis. Ain't even thought up yet. Looking like that, talking about supremacy, I think that's wild. I also think it's wild to keep believing in supremacy considering all the L's they've taken over the course of this country's history, you know? Like, I know it's easy to look around right now and feel like they're doing pretty okay, but really they've mostly lost every major battle they fought up until this point, and they keep talking about supremacy. Like, I feel like the mood of their meetings had to get weirder and sadder over the years, you know? Like, they came into the meeting in 1865, like, okay, so they freed all the slaves. Big whoop. Look, they still can't marry our women. They still can't go to our schools. Hey, how's any of that ever going to change, guys? It ain't like women can vote, okay? It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. 1965, they come into the meeting like, okay, so they can drink from our water fountains now, so we can't legally harass them just for coming into the same diner anymore. But look, there's got to be something we can do to legally harass these people still. Come on. Jimmy, Johnny, Lee, Roy, Leroy, Ricky, Randy, Billy, Bobby, Mike, Steve, Stuart, Stanley, Danny, David. You guys are cops. Put your heads together. We can figure this out. All right, it's not like one of them's the president. 2008, they come in kicking shit over like, okay, all right, this is a tough pill to swallow, I'm not gonna lie. But look, we gotta focus on the positives, guys. Like, hey, it's not like they're gonna start taking the Confederate flag down, all right? They're not gonna start pulling down the statues or renaming the streets or nothing like that. And hey, gay people still can't get married. That's something, right? Some guy in the back's like, aren't some gay guys white men? Shouldn't they be supreme too? It's like, no, Bobby, they don't count. You know that. Listen, we got to focus on the positives, guys. Like, hey, there's still no blacks in country music. Same guy in the back's like, what about Darius? Shut the fuck up, Bobby. Jesus Christ. Gay marriage gets legalized. They're just smoking cigarettes, staring at the wall. Like, I don't know. Y'all know what transgenders are? And they've been flailing with that shit ever since, but they mostly lose, you know. The other reason white supremacy is wild to me is I feel like I never really identified as white. I'm not about to do some Rachel Dolezal shit. That's what I'm about to do. This will make more sense in a minute, I promise. What I mean is, my whole life growing up poor, rural Tennessee, whenever I heard others talk about white people, in my head that was always like Connecticut Yacht Club, like Dill. Is that Dill? Like in white people, right? Like white people. And I didn't know what I was, but I knew I wasn't the same thing as them. And it was very confusing to me as a young man. Now that I'm an adult, it couldn't be more clear. I'm not white, I'm white trash. Right? And it's like, and it is different. It is different. There's a whole list of differences. Like white people got a trust fund, white trash people got trust issues. It's like, white people got a sister who's secretly a lesbian. White trash people got a sister who's secretly their mama. White people play golf with their boss on the weekends. White trash people play scratch-offs with their rent money on payday. It's different. The way they have kids is different. Nowadays, white people wait till they're 35 to have kids. They got in vitro clinics, ovulation calendars, fertility stuff. White trash people more fertile than an Amish cornfield, baby. You can't stop us from having kids, no matter how hard you try. The way they name those kids is different. White parents are like, Braden, Paisley, it's time for your piccolo lessons. Right? White trash parents are like, Remington, Bassmaster. Quit exploding them frogs, get in the goddamn house. It's different. I know. I have kids. Of course I have kids. I worry about my kids all the time on account of this trash blood I gave them. You know, like I try to raise them right, but I worry at the end of the day my trash blood will be too much for them to overcome, you know? Like nobody should be forced to be giving my blood, dude. Like the Red Cross looks at my family history and they're like, we're good. Thanks, though. Right? Like, thank God for my wife for diluting it with hers a little bit, you know? But like, I love my wife, but she's from a different town in rural Tennessee. Like, her blood ain't top shelf or nothing, you know? Like, let's be honest. Like, my wife's blood is like boxed wine, you know? It's like, it's nobody's favorite, but people can handle it in a pinch, you know? My blood's just moonshine made in a radiator, dude. Like, it's just poison. That's all it is. Right? So I worry all the time about how my kids are going to turn out, right? But believe it or not, living in Los Angeles has kind of helped me with this because, like, you live in LA, you look around, you see plenty of rich white kids that are all fucked up too, you know? And it makes me feel better. I'm like, oh, well, maybe it's not about the blood. Maybe it's just a crapshoot either way, right? But I got to say, I feel like that's another way in which they're different is childhood trauma. Because, like, rich white kids are like, yeah, my mother was never very emotionally available, and I've got a lot of residual psychological scarring from that. And white trash kids are like, I got beat with a tire iron. I have actual scars from that. Like, you see that? That's a tire iron scar. That's what that is. I believe that's not cool. You shouldn't do what I just did. You shouldn't like diminish other people's trauma just because you didn't personally experience it. But it's a whole thing with poor people. It's so hard for poor people to believe that rich people went through any kind of genuine adversity, no matter what the circumstances were, you know? Like when all that Epstein shit was coming out, I guarantee you there was people in trailer parks all around this country watching that like, they got to go to an island? was in my uncle's El Camino. What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, that one's rough, I know. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'm just trying to be a good trash daddy. That's all I'm saying. Trying to be a good trash daddy. Sometimes I worry I've overcorrected. Sometimes I worry that mine are too California-y, you know, like my older son, he's a vegetarian for moral reasons, right? Which, like, that's fine with me, but you know what my papa would say about that? Fucking, he'd get canceled for it. I can tell you that much. It wouldn't be good. I just look at them sometimes, I'm like, man, these kids are soft. They're fucking soft, right? But I realize I'm such trash that what I think is soft is actually just a standard middle-class American upbringing, right? Like, that's all it is. Like my wife went school clothes shopping for them, and she let them pick through what she brought home, and she told me, she was like, yeah, they don't like anything in this pile, so I'm going to return those tomorrow. And I was like, what do you mean they don't like anything in that pile? What does that have to do with anything? They know when I was a kid, school clothes came in a garbage bag after my older cousin went back to juvie. I've been a Raiders fan for 30 years because of that motherfucker. Who gives a shit what they like, right? I'll try to roast them some fresh vegetables. I didn't know you could get vegetables not in a can until I was 28 years old, right? Like, blew my mind. I try to share this wondrous revelation with my children. I'll roast them some fresh broccoli, cauliflower. I'll church it up, put some balsamic drizzle on it, whatever. It don't matter. They're just picky. They just won't eat it. They just don't want it. I'm sitting there like, I ate squirrels, God damn it. Who the fuck do you think you are? The other day, my 11-year-old got cold in the house, so he just went and turned the thermostat up a little bit. Like, didn't ask somebody nothing, didn't say nothing to nobody. Just walked over there and just turned it up. I could feel the souls of my ancestors telling me to slap his ass. But I didn't do it. I'm trying to be a good trash daddy. I am. I am definitely white trash. I want to tell y'all what I think is the single most white trash thing about me. This is a 100% true story. So my parents got divorced when I was 7, and I know you're like, yeah, we figured. Can't believe they were married at all. But yeah, they were. They got divorced back then, early 90s, rural Tennessee. Parents get divorced. Mama just kind of got custody by default. That's just how it worked, you know. So my mom got custody of us, but my dad was like, okay, but they're going to live with me, though. And the judge was just like, ain't you got a Camaro to work on or something? Fucking just let her have them, bro. Right, but we lived with my dad, and because we lived with my dad, he didn't pay her any child support, because in his eyes, that was bullshit. And apparently, that was bullshit is not a formally recognized legal defense for not paying child support, right? You can't just plead that's some bullshit, as it turns out. So my dad accumulated all this debt to the state over the course of his life. When he dies years back, I had to reconcile all that, which I didn't know was a thing, but it is in the right circumstances. For example, if you owe money to the state. It's like everything with money works the same way, really. It's like, you know how, like, if you got a lot of money in the bank will give you more money for having all that money in the bank. But if you ain't got no money in the bank will charge you money for not having no money in the bank, right? It's like, everything works that way with money, including inheritance. It's like if you're rich and your parent dies, you're sad, but you got a new lake house or the throne of England or whatever. Like there's upsides to it. You know, but if you're poor and your parent dies, you're poor plus they're poor. And I'm generationally poor, dude. I come from old no money. Right? So So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. My friends see this. They become concerned. They're like, damn, man, who you owe money to? I was like, I got to pay his fucking child support, man. They're like, heard that, but I thought you had both of your kids. No, not on them, on me. I'm so white trash, I got to pay my own child support. And the worst part is I can't stand this little motherfucker. Always laying around my house, eating up my food, starting fights with my wife, talking shit about me in my own head. He sucks. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I finally get a call from the state of Tennessee one day. They're being very helpful. They're like, is there anything we can do to help? Like, are there any assets you can liquidate? And I was like, what? And they're like, is there any shit you could sell? I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, well, there's the house I grew up in where my Meemaw still lives. And they're like, that's perfect. So what you do is you sell that house, use the proceeds to pay us off, do with the rest as you see fit. And it all kind of clicked for me in that moment. And I was like, so you're telling me that I need to sell the house I grew up in where my Meemaw still lives so I can pay y'all my own child support? And she was like, can we call you back? And I got a call a couple hours later from her manager, and he was like, yeah, listen, don't worry about that. We wiped all that out. We took care of it. And that's the first time in my life that I was like, damn, maybe I am white.
I am a proud black man. I want to make that very clear. I am unwavering in that. But at the same time, let's keep it real. I hear how I talk. I went to mixed schools. I use words like unwavering. I'm just keeping it real. I think my perspective as a black person in this country is a really interesting one to consider. It's not the only one, but it's one worth considering. Because I grew up in the intersection between cultures my entire life. I grew up in mixed neighborhoods. I went to mixed schools. I played for mixed sports teams. I work in an industry where I work with people of every race. As far as I'm concerned, based on my experiences, I think we're all better together than we are apart. That's how I personally feel. Right? I really do mean that. I think it's important to say that at a time like this. I think every race of people is better together than they are apart. And if you don't believe me, look at the results of every single Olympics. Why do you think the U.S. wins more medals than any other country? We're using other people's people. We're cheating. No one holds us accountable. Name one other country of one race of people that can go gold in skiing and basketball. Nobody. It's just us. Don't let the racist people fool you. I'm telling you, the biggest advantage we have in this country is that we have each other. That is real. Every time you take time to love somebody who doesn't look like you, the other countries are going, fuck, they're figuring it out. That's why I love the diversity in this country. It's my favorite thing. Every time the Olympics come up, we're like a dude who's got the right Pokemon for every situation. That's how I see it, man. And we're cocky as hell about it, too. We'll talk trash to anybody. What you want to do? What you trying to do? Women's 100-meter dash? Black girl, I choose you. Sha'Carri Richardson just pops out that thing running like an anime character, just... What you trying to do? What you want to do? Men's freestyle swimming? Say hello to my little white boy. Right? Michael Phelps just pops out that thing, just... If you know, you know. What you trying to do? What you want to do? Rowing? You think we ain't got Cubans? Yo, Florida. How do you think they got here? You mark my words, I'm calling it right now. In 4 years, we're gonna have Mexicans competing in the high jump. They're gonna be so good too. Oh my God, as much as we've been training them, oh, they're gonna be unstoppable. As soon as they figure out how to stop tunneling under it, oh my God, they're gonna be so good. And every one of y'all that's been calling them illegals, as soon as they come home with a gold medal, you're gonna be like, my brother, we did it. Listen, I do think I'm onto something. I'm just fucking around to make the point, but I do think everybody's better together than they are apart. I think the diversity in this country is one of the dopest things about this place. Did you see the story a couple years ago? This is real. A couple years ago, there was a competition of mathletes, international competition, and Team USA's mathletes actually defeated China's team of mathletes. And when they showed a picture of Team USA holding the American flag, sporting their gold medals around their necks, every single one of them was Chinese. Look it up, real story. How you gonna beat us when your biggest obstacle is in the mirror? Listen, this is all I'm saying. I don't give a shit what race you are. I'm gonna try to love you regardless. I do care how stupid you are. Now that is an issue that I don't know how else to address. That is a love that has limits. You ever met somebody so dumb, you're just like, yeah, I don't think we can help this one. Let's take them to the forest, man. Just let nature take its course. I saw a story earlier this year. Did y'all see this? There was a dude in Texas. Great start. There's a dude in Texas who tried to shoot a firework off the top of his head for the 4th of July. It exploded into his skull as it should have. I want to make that so clear where I stand on this issue. I'm on team, yeah, that's what happens next, you dumbass. Can I just throw this out there? I didn't know it was possible for somebody to be that dumb. Not that dumb. And I grew up in Florida. I want to make that very clear. The kinds of things I've seen. You want to hear a great Florida story? When I was a kid, I was 12, I go over to my best friend's house. We're playing in his front yard. Across the street, we're looking at his neighbor, grown man. I watched this dude pepper spray himself, trying to figure out if there was more in the can. Swear to God, a grown man I saw do that. I just want to make this very clear. That is a voter, and his vote counts the same as yours. I just want to make sure you know that. I watched him look that thing down the barrel, and he took a shot straight to the eye like an OnlyFans model. Bam! There was a subscribe button under him. I couldn't have hit it faster. More of this! I'm just saying I didn't know it was possible for people to be dumb like that, though. This dude lights a firework up top of his head. True story. It explodes into his skull. I read this article, and I know the point of the article is I'm supposed to feel bad for him. And all I'm saying is I'm struggling. It's just too hard. It's too dumb a way to get hurt. You know what I mean? Don't you just know deep down in your gut he went, America, right before he lit that motherfucker? Don't you just know he said that? You don't even gotta check. Don't you just know? As sure as I am that Nick Cannon doesn't wear condoms, I am sure that dude said that thing. Can I just throw this out there? I really do think I'm on to something here. The term America, let's talk about it. If you don't know, the term America is supposed to mean having pride in country. Is it just me, or is it any time I see somebody go, America, they then do something I'm not proud of as an American? You ever notice that? Every time, they're like trying to jet ski through a hurricane or some shit. Or they're like trying to jump over a campfire, but they trip into it. Every time somebody goes, America, you know what I think they mean to say? I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is Jackass. Every time somebody goes, America, I'm like, oh, he's about to get hit in the balls or some shit, man. I got a theory, and listen, I think this joke would work better if there were more black people in the room, but let's see what the fuck happens. I just want to be honest about that. I think the term America is to white people what the term world star is to black people. I think it means the exact same thing. I think if any of us hear somebody shout either of those words out, we all think the same thing. We just go, get your camera phone out. About to make a memory. I think it's so weird to shout America. And I'm not saying I have a lack of pride in this country. I love this country. But I do think that is an objectively stupid thing to do. To go, America, I just think it's dumb. Do you think anybody in any other country does that? I don't. I think it's just us. I think we're fucking idiots. I really do. Do you think anybody else shotguns a beer, does a backflip, lands? Rwanda, do you think? Because I don't think so, man. You think anybody else shakes out their mullet, throws some shades on, and takes a 2x4 to the dong? Oh, Cambodia. I don't think so, man. This is all I'm saying. I'm not even saying stop saying it. I'm not even saying stop saying it. I'm just saying, can you pick a better time? What a fair compromise. No, just say it when it makes us look good. Stop saying it when it makes us look like some dumbasses. That's all I'm asking for. Say it when we win a gold medal, not when you butt chug a White Claw. How am I supposed to find pride in that moment? Who heard butt chug and felt patriotic? That's all I'm saying. Just pick a better time. I think that's such a fair compromise. Look, I don't know your love lives. I don't want to know. But next time any one of y'all get to have sex with somebody who's from another country, the second you make them come, just go, America. Listen. I don't know one American who wouldn't be proud of you in that moment. Half of you would salute. Our country 'tis of thee. Sweet land that slings the deep. I'm messing with you, but. Can I say something weird? I really do think we should be doing that to foreigners. I know that sounds weird, but I really do think I'm on to something. I think anytime you make a foreigner come, you should let them know where they are. In fact, that is my foreign policy. Listen, I don't understand who's losing in it. Really think this through, all right? Like, okay, they get to come, you get national pride. Who's losing? I really think I'm onto something. It's just jarring to think about, but I'm onto something. Listen, if I went to another country for the first time, they made me come, then told me where I was, I'd be like, this place is all right with me. Where'd you say we are? Guantanamo. Yeah, I can get used to this. Not bad at all.
I feel good though, man. I had been sick for a while. I came down with something. I was sick for like 2 weeks. I had to go to urgent care here in Nashville. I don't know if y'all been doing urgent care. Go check it out. It's fun. I like it in there. It's better than a real doctor. I think there's no ego at an urgent care. That's what's fun, you know? Nobody in an urgent care is like, this is where I thought my life would be. And I like that. That's actually a good feeling. You go to a doctor's office, they talk down to you, right? Diplomas on the wall. They're like, I went to school. I know everything. Urgent care is like, do you have $40? Let's figure this out together. We don't know any more than you know? Let's put our heads in a room and let's tackle this sinus infection as a team. And that's fun. There's camaraderie in an urgent care, you know? I don't know if anybody's qualified, and that's a rush. That's a fun way to spend a day. You know how you fill out all your info in the lobby on like a clipboard, and then they take you to another room and act like you never did that? So the nurse comes in, we're face to face, she's asking me questions. She goes, what are you in for? I said, my nose is clogged. She said, you been taking anything? I said, just Sudafed. And she goes, oh, can you spell that for me? I was like, Sudafed? I maybe could. I would like you to take a stab at it though, right? Feels like something you should know. I know y'all share a lease with a T-Mobile store, but this feels like day one stuff, honestly. Look, I've been taking ibuprofen as well, so maybe I sounded that one out. You can write that down phonetically. I'm being mean, but they hooked me up. They gave me a steroid shot. I don't know if you've had a steroid shot. They are awesome. I don't know what's in them. It works so quick. I don't know why they've been hiding these. They should do a lot more steroid shots. That should be the first thing they throw at you when you walk in, you know? Just go around the waiting room, just give everybody a steroid shot and be like, we'll see who needs to be here in 5 minutes. Most of y'all be feeling better than you've ever felt in your life. They got me. I felt good right away. I had some other medicine I had to get. I don't even know what. I had to go to the pharmacy to get it. They didn't have it at urgent care. I had to go to the pharmacy, another place, across town. I know that's how it works, but I don't know why we're all okay with it. You know, there's plenty of room. Just keep it there. Why do I gotta go off campus to get the medicine? You know, no other industry in America works like that. Can you imagine you go to Jiffy Lube and they're like, you need an oil change. We don't have any oil here, but if you take this piece of paper to Walgreens, they'll get you oil in about an hour, you know? You'll see it immediately, but it'll be an hour before they turn around and hand it to you. You ever see your bag over their shoulder? You're like, can I just reach out and grab that real quick? It's gonna be an hour, so. I was in there a while. She goes, it's gonna be about an hour. Feel free to walk around our store. I was like, really? Are you sure? Thank you. You ever walk around a pharmacy indefinitely? There's weird stuff in there. There's aisles none of us go to because they're not on the way to anything fun. Go check them out. There's cool. I bought a knee brace. I didn't know you were allowed to get a knee brace off the rack. $29. It's pretty good. I don't need a knee brace right now, but y'all see me. It's coming. I want to have a starter when that day comes, right? Breathe Right strips, I was trying those out. Big advocate of those. You know a Breathe Right strip? It's a little sticker that you put on your nose and it just, even if you're breathing good, you could be breathing a little better. You ever throw on a Breathe Right strip just to power through the last few bites of a meal? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Just open things up. Some of y'all have never breathed, I can tell. You don't even know what I'm talking about. You're living life at 60% nose. You could get to 63.
On November 17th, 1991. I know that day, I remember it because it was the day after my 13th birthday, and I was in a bad place because I was still pissing a bed. When you're still bedwetting at 13, it's an issue. And my uncle, he did what uncles do, which is where they think your parents can't get the job done, so they take a crack at it. He sat me down, and he did the whole thing. He was like, look at me, boy. Look at me when I'm talking to you, boy. Look at me, boy. Piss in the bed like you do? You know who else does that? Serial killers. Told me that at 13. Like that is what was gonna wake me up from a bedwetting nightmare. And I'd go take a piss in the toilet of maturity. I was like, that's a lot to tell a 13-year-old. Then if you didn't know that, yes, a trait that a lot of serial killers share is wetting the bed into their adult years. It's also a trait that people with perfect pitch share, so take it as you will. But that fucked with me. That information was too much for my young mind, and thus my first OCD tic was born. Every time I pissed the bed from then on out, the entire next day, I had to avoid eye contact with anyone or they would be murdered. And depending on what year we're talking about, that was anywhere from 1 to 8 days a week, you understand? I spent a lot of time alone looking at the ground back then. And yes, I suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder. Obsessive compulsive disorder. A lot of people are under the impression that these past 2 years have been like a dream come true for those of us with OCD because we get to wash our hands a lot. Do you think we like washing our hands? Is that what you think? Do you think people like succumbing to their mental illness? Is that what you think? Do you think schizophrenics are like, oh boy, the voices are back. Can't wait to hear what they're up to. Can't wait to hear what they got planned for me. I think people project their weak bullshit onto the mentally ill because they're afraid to admit that they're mentally ill themselves. We're all fucking mentally ill. That should be the norm. There's no such thing as mentally healthy. Like, seriously. We are all mentally under the weather at best. And that's what makes us interesting. Like, yes, OCD is complex, very much so. Do I wash my hands a lot? Of course I do. But not for the reasons you think. I don't give a fuck about germs. I wish I was afraid of germs. No. Do I care about 90-degree angles and things being put away properly? Fuck no. Do I have to hang up all the clothes in my closet in a color-coordinated fashion? I barely even hang them up half the time. Can my food touch? Obviously. Obviously my food can touch. None of the OCD tropes apply to me. However, do I feel like in a past life I borrowed money from God and never paid God back? So in this life, God taxes me in the form of daily rituals I have to perform, and if I don't, God goes after my loved ones like a mafia boss would? Yes! That's what it feels like. Like there's a God in a heaven talking to his angels who are like his fucking capos and shit. Like, hey, did Sean Patton remember to microwave absolutely nothing for exactly 33 seconds last night? The fuck you mean no? He's got to do that every Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. on the dot. He didn't do it. Okay. Well, then I guess he don't like having a cancer-free family then, does he? Do it. His Uncle Billy, both lungs. What are we, all cousins here? You guys got real weird on that one. Oh my God, is that what happened, Uncle Billy? I thought it was the 30-some-odd years of unfiltered Lucky Strikes. It was. That was the message. Sometimes God works in very obvious ways. Like, this is why I have a beef with superstitious people, because you know those aren't real. You know those are OCD light at best. Diet OCD. I mean, superstitions were definitely started by someone with OCD. That's a fact. That's a fact. There's a dialect of Spanish, Castilian, right? Where they make a sound that sounds like a lisp. But do you know where that came from? It's a Spanish king hundreds of years ago who himself had a lisp and was so insecure about it that he made it the high-born way to speak. And the entire country followed suit, and now it's built into the enunciation. Or so that be the scufflebutt. Now, the same thing happened with superstitions, I guarantee it. There was a powerful king who himself had OCD and wanted everyone to have to deal with the shit he dealt with. So one day he was like, "It is my decree that if thou see a tabby cat in thy path, one must turn the other way and walk away or face tidings of ill doing. Make it law." Your Majesty, we can never enforce such a ridiculous law. Off with your head! Do it in one stroke or three, but neither two nor full. And thus, superstitions were born. They don't have any stakes involved. Superstitions are about avoiding bad luck, saving yourself, something you can't do. Like, we can contrast and compare all day. If you're superstitious, you wouldn't want to walk under a ladder because that'll bring you bad luck. What does that even mean? That's life. And what are you so afraid of bad luck for? Bad luck brought us the blues. Everybody loves the fucking blues. Growing up with OCD, every time I made a sandwich, which was a lot, I had to kiss all four corners before I bit into it so that my grandfather would never die in a boating accident. You understand? And it worked. He's been dead for a quarter century, but it happened on dry fucking land. If you're superstitious, you wouldn't want to break a mirror because that'll bring you 7 years of bad luck. 7 years of bad luck? It sounds like the premise of a CBS sitcom that's only going to last 2 seasons anyway. So what are you afraid of? As a teenager, every Wednesday, I had to wear my shoes on the opposite feet until someone noticed. And then when they noticed, I would then have to pretend like I just noticed. Because that was the only thing that stopped the HIV virus from going airborne, okay? You're welcome. I'm sorry COVID slipped through the cracks, but that clearly wasn't my assignment. It was airborne already. I was focused on blood-based viruses. Do you see? OCD is about saving lives. But there is one superstition I respect, and only one, okay? Step on a crack, break your mother's back. That one is proof that life is pure chaos. You never know. You're walking down the street one day like you do every day, you step on a crack, not even thinking about it. But in that crack was a little baby cockroach that went scurrying down the block past the child. That child saw it and screamed loud enough to distract a cyclist who blew through a traffic light and got plowed by a dump truck. And then that dump truck got plowed by a cement truck. And then that cement truck, dump truck, bike rider got plowed by a postal van. Now, you've got the largest all-municipal vehicle accident since Jacksonville, 76, right? This causes a traffic jam, hours. Cars are just sitting there idling, their engines pumping more and more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, strengthening the effects of climate change, yielding more and more psychotic, unpredictable weather patterns, like a late season nor'easter that unleashes a 50-mile-an-hour gale of wind with no conscience that crosses paths with your mother while she's doing some roofing repairs. She'd never see it coming. Because it's wind. But her spine shatters in 3 places upon impact right there in the damn driveway. You broke your mother's back. Poetically enough, her name was probably also Gail. Chaos! Now, listen, I didn't invite you out to frighten you. And I can tell I've done that. So, hear my words. There are others like me, and we're out there doing what we can to protect us all. You understand? I'm a grown man, and still to this day, I have to touch my asshole twice a day, every day. Independent asshole touchings, not while showering and not while toileteering. Those don't count. Independent asshole touchings. It's quick and clean. Hand in the pants, pop right on the button, get it right out of there. You'd never know I was doing it. You would never know. I would demonstrate for you, but I've already done it twice today. I have no clue what happens if I go for it a third time. I don't want to risk it. And I know the question that's now burning in your minds. Why? Sean, why? Why must you touch your asshole twice a day and not while showering nor toileteering? Why? Well, that's a very good question, but it's the wrong question. The right question would be, Sean, why hasn't there been a successful presidential assassination in your lifetime? Well, if you look at the word assassination, go ahead, spell it out. A-S-S-A-S-S-I-N-A-T-I-O-N. Now, apply an OCD lens to that. It breaks it up into 4 words. I-Nation. I-Nation. That's how a leader should think. I am responsible for nation. I serve nation. But I'm no leader, so there's nothing I can do about that. However, ass, got that covered all day. I can serve my ass. I can be responsible for that. So as long as I touch my ass, the leader can continue serving the nation. Do you see? As I said before, I wash my hands a lot too, but it has nothing to do with germs and everything to do with national fucking security. Oh yeah, weed, and that's why I can't smoke weed. I got sidetracked there. I want to smoke weed, I keep fucking trying. Weed is like steroids for intrusive thought, you understand? The right amount under the right supervision's fine, but what's the right amount? What's the right supervision, okay? Nobody I know personally, that's a fact. I'll take it. I'll smoke weed sometimes and my thoughts are great. They're intrusive, but they knock at least. You understand? There I am, just like, hey man, just because I enjoy performing cunnilingus does not mean I have cannibalism in my DNA. No way, man, that's just a metaphor, right? Eating pussy, you're not literally devouring labia. That's just a metaphor. I love metaphors. Who doesn't love metaphors? Metaphors are fantastic. One time I metaphored. They were great. She was cool as shit. Damn right she was. I'm probably a 4. I should have said, hey, fellow 4, together we can make an 8. Oh, that's sexy. I'm glad I'm a Scorpio. Wow, look at this cat. I want to pet this cat, but what if it scratches me? I've been through worse adversity, me. I gotta live my life. I gotta live. Fuck it, let's do it. Here we are. Listen to this cat purr. It's awesome. Sounds like it's beatboxing. I should drop some rhymes, be a cat rapper. Hell yeah, this is the only pussy I'll ever need. Fun thoughts. However, then comes the moment when I look up and see a stranger across the street that resembles Jeffrey Dahmer. And that's all it takes, the reminder that evil exists, and my thoughts go dark. Like, I hope I don't put this cat in the microwave, but what if I'm a serial killer? Why would I be a serial killer? I mean, I guess I did piss my bed till I was 31. Jesus, I hope I don't throw my brother out the window. But what if I show my dick to my dad? Why would I show my dad my dick? Because I'm gonna be the first son to molest his father? Oh my God, I hope not. I know I'm gonna see grandma tomorrow. I sure hope I don't grab her tits, but what if I grab her tits? But I would never grab her tits. But maybe I will, right there at the wake, in front of everyone. Just grab her big old dead titties, and everyone would just assume I'm grieving. Like, that boy sure loves his Meemaw, but I would never grab Meemaw's tits. Maybe that's why she died. I didn't love her enough. What all this would look like to you is this.
It's tough because when you have teenagers, you know that they get to a certain age and they start to think that they're cool and that you're not, which is a phenomenon because you raised them. You've known them their whole lives and you know they're not cool at all. And you know that you are, and yet you gotta listen to them like, oh, Dad, you're so out of it. Dad, you don't get it. Dad, you don't know how to download. It's like, hey, you don't know me, motherfucker. You don't know who I was. I used to be very cool. You know when I stopped being cool? When you two assholes were born. Before that, very cool. Way cooler than you will ever be. You know why you won't be as cool as I was? Because you're not being raised by an abusive, alcoholic parent. That's why. And that can change. You're not cool. What are you, 14? When I was 14, I was high at dinner. Every night. Look at you. You're not even high. I was baked out of my mind, laughing. Look at you all clear-eyed, normal. I used to get in a fist fight every day after school. You wear a helmet to ride a bicycle. Pussy. When I was a kid, only the really good athletes got trophies. Now they're handing them out to the white kids, too. You don't know. You want to tell them all the crazy shit you've done, but you can't. You got to protect your image. You want to sit them down and go, guess what your dad did in college? He had a 3-way. That's right, with 2 other guys. Or whatever. This chick was supposed to show up. She was running late. We figured let's just get it started. Give her some time. Anyway, she never showed up. Or she might have. Somebody's ringing the buzzer, but we were so far into it at that point. Nobody was getting out of that bed. It was Dick City and I was the mayor. And I'll tell you something. Good guys. Good guys. I think the thing that really bothers me the most is they think that my wife is cool and I'm not. It's like, really? Mommy's cool? She is. Guess who's fucking her? She doesn't look so cool with my dick in her mouth, I'll tell you that much. Mommy looks silly sometimes. Sex with my wife is pretty wild, by the way, because she's 57. I can't believe I'm having sex with a 57-year-old woman. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm 57 too. But I'm still fucking a 57-year-old woman. If you told me when I was 18 years old that I'd be banging a 57-year-old, I would put a gun in my mouth at that moment. And yet I love her. I think she's beautiful and sexy, and we have great sex, but it's existential. It's weird. I love my wife. I remember years ago driving home one day, and I texted her. I said, what time are you gonna be home? And she said, 6 o'clock. And then she said, will you pick up some eggs? And I wrote, sure. And then I wrote, what are you wearing? And I got a text back, my cleats and my soccer uniform. And I realized my wife is driving, son is in the passenger seat with the phone. And then I got a text back, why? What are you wearing? And I threw my phone out the window. I burned it.
The other day I was home and I said to my wife, I'm gonna go out for a walk. And she's like, oh, that seems nice, I'll come along with you. And I was like, damn it. What? But she wanted to come, so we go out for the walk, and while we're out walking, she accuses me of checking out another woman. I don't know about any of you, but when I walk, I need to see where I'm going. And I was just seeing where I was going. And I saw that I want to go home with that other woman. It seemed better. Afterwards, she said to me, "It doesn't bother me that you check out other women. It bothers me that you're obvious when you do it. Be more discreet." So now I hide in bushes wearing camouflage. Out of respect. I go home after the show, and when I go home, she'll be there. She's there a lot. She is. Here's the thing. The most important thing about having a wife is you got to give her attention. That's it. Because if you don't, she's going to seek that attention from somebody else. And man, that'd be great if someone else could chip in. She is time consuming. Having a wife, it's difficult. She says things, that's the tough part for me. The other morning, we woke up. First thing she says, "Can you believe it's about to be August?" That was her opener. And she didn't mean it rhetorically. She was looking at me like she wanted to talk about it. How do I respond? I'm like, it's been coming up after July for a while. I was expecting it. I'm surprised it caught you off guard. We're doing good. We're making progress. We got in a fight actually today, and this is the first time ever I won the fight. Thank you. I punched her in her face, and I went old school with it. We had our problems. We almost got divorced a couple years ago, and we went to marriage counseling. You all probably could have guessed that by some of these jokes, but yeah, we went to marriage counseling, and it saved us. It saved our entire marriage. I don't recommend it. I was almost out. In the early goings, we had to see our therapist one-on-one. And during my one-on-one session, he told me that I suffer from marriage PTSD. I didn't know that, but you could get PTSD for marriage. And he goes, "You could join a support group for that." But I'm not gonna do that, yeah. You can't show up to a PTSD support group with marriage PTSD. I just imagine they're going around like, "What brings you here?" And the guy next to me goes, "2 tours in Iraq." And I'm like, "I feel you. 10 years with Allie." Yeah. He'll be like, "That's not the same. I saw people die in front of my eyes." I'm like, "I die a little bit each day." Anyway, but we don't go to marriage counseling anymore. And it's not because we're fixed. We found out our therapist is divorced. Yeah, I found out in therapy. I'm like, "Oh, so you're happily married?" He goes, "Actually, I'm divorced." I hope that doesn't change anything. I'm like, that changes everything. I just grab my wife. I'm like, "Let's get off this guy's couch." She sleeps on it. Thank you. Thank you very much. But yeah, we're doing all right now, I think. You know, we talk before bed. She likes to do that. Before bed the other night, she's like, "I want you to know I tell you 100% the truth." I'm like, "I want you to know I tell you 100% the truth." And that was a lie. Because here's the thing, you have to lie about a couple of things. This is something I lied about recently. We were walking to our car. I was the last one to use it. And as we were walking, I realized I left it on. Keys were in the ignition. Engine was still running from the day before. It's not something I want her to know I did. She'll hold that against me forever. And as we're walking her, she's like, "Is our car on right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is, because our car, it picks up on your body heat and could just start up." And she's like, "Our car can do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, 2008 Ford Fiesta can do anything it puts its mind to."